Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Voice of the Guo Media TNT Daily. This is Alexis. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel. We would like to hear the valuable feedback from you. So let's jump into our fast news directly. First, let's look at the second wave outbreaks of the CCP virus has occurred in several cities in China, including the northeastern city Mudanjiang. Let's get more information from a reporter.
The situation of the epidemic in the Mudanjiang city has been gradually getting worse. A couple, one of whom works as community director and live in the number 3 building of Beihan Second Community, have been diagnosed positive. So far, more than 600 cases are asymptomatic, which is only a fraction of the official data leaked.
It looks like the situation is much severe than what's being reported. Our next news is also in regard to the Mudanjiang City CCP virus outbreaks. The secretary of the Mudanjiang Communist Party Committee, Ma Zhiyong, stepped down from the office due to the severe epidemic situation. Let's see what happened.
Mudanjiang has become one of the core focus of this pandemic in mainland China. During the 2 sessions, Mudanjiang from Heilongjiang province reported successive cases result in shutdowns of schools, transport, and mass number of nucleic acid testing, followed by the removal of the General Secretary Ma Zhiyong. According to the website of the National Health Commission of Heilongjiang, on 8th of June alone there was an increase of 19 asymptomatic patients identified from the mass nucleic acid testing program. Some sources believe that the fall of Ma Zhiyong was a direct consequence of failing Chairman Xi orders to control the pandemic during a hypersensitive period of the 2 sessions.
Next, in United States, Senator Rick Scott accused Chinese Communist Party of trying to sabotage the CCP virus vaccine. Here's the detail.
U.S. Republican Senator Scott criticizes China for sabotaging vaccine development in Europe and the United States. U.S. Senator Scott said in an interview on BBC TV that the United States has evidence to prove that the Chinese government is trying to hinder the development of the CCP virus vaccines in Western countries. The CCP does not want the United States or other European countries to take the lead on vaccine development. Asked what the evidence the United States had, Scott declined to give details but said it had come through the intelligence community. Senator Scott also said that the early development of a vaccine is crucial to the revitalization of the U.S. economy, but if the Chinese government takes the lead in developing the vaccine, it will not share this achievement with other countries. Scott condemned the behaviors of the Chinese Communist Party and claimed that the CCP is determined to be an adversary to Americans and democracy around the world.
Next, Taiwan offers help to Hong Kong citizens as Chinese Communist Party tightens grip. Let's get some more information from a reporter.
Taiwan will pass the rescue plan for refugees from Hong Kong as soon as the 11th of June, which will include the establishment of resettlement sites to help Hong Kong refugees. Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen proposed the Hong Kong Humanitarian Rescue Action Plan earlier, and it has now been sent to the Taiwan Executive Yuan. It will be announced as soon as possible after the passage on 11th of June. The plan, coordinated by the Taiwan Mainland Affairs Council, will include the establishment of centralized resettlement premises to accommodate Hong Kong refugees who cannot find a place to stay in Taiwan. It will also provide basic life, psychological consolation, medical insurance, and other related supports. After Hong Kong refugees obtain the right of abode, they will provide assistances in education, employment, and vocational training, etc. The plan covers Hong Kong refugees who have applied for political asylum but have not yet passed the review. Hong Kong refugees who are currently applying for asylum in Taiwan will be funded by the local fundraising assistance from Hong Kong and the cost sharing of the Taiwan Mainland Affairs Council's emergency rescue. They will be formally included in the budget of the Taiwan Mainland Affairs Council next year.
All right, thank you very much for the news report. Now let's bring our attention back to the people of Hong Kong. Right now, today it is the anniversary of the anti-extradition law from Hong Kong to China, and let's look at the parade size in Hong Kong.
Today, June 9th, marks the one-year anniversary of the initial protest of 1 million people against the Fugitive Offenders Amendment Bill. The Hong Kong Civil Human Rights Front issued a statement today that June 9th is the collective memory of Hong Kong people resisting the bill. It is also the beginning of protecting the Hong Kong people's freedom. The Civil Human Rights Front also responded to the recent menacing national security law, saying that in the past 1 year, the Hong Kong people and those who supported democracy and freedom around the world were very worried about Hong Kong's fate, and even felt frustrated. However, there have been countless miracles created by everyone in the past 1 year as well. The Civil Human Rights Front stressed that both the Peace Party and Valiant Party blocked the amendment, broke through the pro-communist capital hegemony by creating Yellow Economic Circle, new trade union movements blossomed everywhere, and the victory of district council election, etc., are all miracles created by the Hong Kong people. The Civil Human Rights Front calls on Hong Kong people to trust themselves and each other. The dawn comes after the dark night, emphasizing to not forget the month of June and the history of blood tears of Hong Kong people resisting. They also reiterated that they will continue to organize a march on July 1st, hoping the people of Hong Kong will stand up for their past and to resist the evil laws for Hong Kong and the future. In the end, the Civil Human Rights Front adhered to 5 indispensable major demands: resist evil laws and fight to the end.
Thank you very much for the news report. Now, next news, more fake news from the Chinese Communist Party, how they stated that 30 million supported a new law in the 7 million city of Hong Kong. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's listen more.
Ignoring the truth that Hong Kong's population is only 7 million, the Chinese Communist Party says that 30 million people in Hong Kong supports the legislation. When the European Times recently reported that Hong Kong version of the national security law, it claimed that 30 million people in Hong Kong supported the legislation. However, after the report was exposed, it was immediately questioned by netizens in the West and Hong Kong. However, the population of Hong Kong is just over 7 million. Even if everyone in Hong Kong is caught and endorsed by the European Times, where did the other 23 million come from? After the report was exposed, some people speculated that it was spoofed by someone else, but the reporter of Apple News in Hong Kong found the original version of the European Times, which was titled with "The National Security Law of Hong Kong District wants support from nearly 30 million from Hong Kong." Due to the quote, "nearly 30 million support from Hong Kong people," it is way too far from the sentiment of most Hong Kong people. In addition, Hong Kong clearly has a population more than 7 million, but can it be 30 million? Some netizens couldn't help but doubt that the 23 million extra people were ghosts. Others lamented that the Chinese Communist Party spent money on large-scale publicity, but as a result, they ended up catching fake news. Some netizens once suspected that the font of the newspaper was different sizes and seemed to be a picture change. After reading the original JPEG file of the European Times, it was confirmed that the front page title was indeed "The National Security Law of the Minato District wins nearly 30 million support from Hong Kong." Now, if you notice, 30 million can be likes or votes or signatures and should be differentiated with 30 million people, despite the fact that Hong Kong only has 7 million of its population. The media pointed out that the newspaper was actually manipulated by CCP behind it, and headquartered in Beijing. It was part of the outreach of the Chinese Communist Party.
All right, thank you very much for the news reporting. Now we bring your attention to the political movement in Taiwan.
11 Taiwanese persecuted for attacking He Yunshi, Huang Zhifeng was also targeted. Hong Kong entertainer He Yunshi went to Taiwan last year to participate in the Support Hong Kong Anti-Authoritarianism 929 Taiwan and Hong Kong parade, in which she was splattered by Hu Zhiwei and other members of the China Unification Promotion Party. The Taipei District Attorney's Office today persecuted 11 people, including Hu Zhiwei, for intended and flagrant insults. The persecutor also found out that Hu Zhiwei and others were assigned to work. In addition to pouring red oil on He, they also targeted at Huang Zhifeng, Secretary General of Hong Kong Zhongzhi Organization. If the pouring of red oil failed, they would throw wooden bags. The indictment pointed out that Hu Zhiwei and others were dissatisfied with the concept and appeal of the Hong Kong anti-Semitism movement. When they learned that her and Huang and others might come to Taiwan to participate in the 929 parade, they planned to cooperate in an attack coordinated by 9 recreation activist groups. The persecution found that Hu Zhiwei and others not only intended to splash red oil, but also prepared rancid water bags, water balls, urine bags, and water guns. Hu Zhiwei was responsible for ambushing in the area near Jinan Road, Zhongzhi District, Taipei City, waiting for the opportunity to splash red oil on her and Huang. Other 6 people, including the defendants and Liang Taifu, director of that Chen Island Township and Cultural Promotion Association, stayed at Hu Zhiwei's funeral, waiting for opportunity. If Hu Zhiwei failed to splash red oil and could not escape smoothly, the 6 people would disguise as enthusiastic, stepping forward to discourage He and Huang and pretend to shout slogans like peaceful, rational, no hating to cover Hu Zhiwei's escape. As for the accused, Chen Youda, the state supervisor of the Chen Island Industrial and Cultural Promotion Association, stayed in the area of Zhonghua Road and Hankou Street in Taipei City, waiting together with the opponents in the anti-send for further information. They prepared the rancid water bag, water polo, urine bag, and water gun. If Hu Zhiwei is unable to complete the task of splashing red oil, Chen Youda will instruct his team to attack her and Huang.
All right, thank you very much for the news reporting. Now, finally, I want to bring your attention back to the Wuhan virus and the latest study coming out of Hong Kong University. Now, Hong Kong University study reveals that the virus penetrates into subcutaneous cells. A study by the Department of Microbiology of Hong Kong University found that many patients who lost their sense of smell had pneumoconiosis virus antigen inside nasal mucosa and macrophages. It is inferred that the Wuhan virus can infiltrate and infect these subcutaneous cells. Researchers claim that patients can't smell the smell even if smelly feces are not felt at present. Researchers also found that it takes up to 20 days for individual patients to recover from their sense of smell, and the researchers think that doctors should not ignore the situation during diagnosis and treatment. The study was co-led by Yuan Guoyong, Chair Professor of Department of Microbiology of Hong Kong University, and Zhong Weixuan, the Honorary Clinical Instructor of the department. They analyzed 18 to 60-year-old patients with mild Wuhan virus infection and were hospitalized in Mary Hospital or Eastern Hospital from April 6 to 9. 12 people reported that they lost their sense of smell, and the median time to onset was 0.5 days after infection. However, only 2 people had clinical sinus and nasal congestion, and the remaining patients had no obvious symptoms. Nasal cavity was generally smooth under computer scan, and air could flow into nasal cavity. Some patients' olfactory test is lower than normal, and some people get only 0 points. Zhong Weixuan said that one of the patients could not even smell the stool. Sample analysis also found that the nasal mucosa and CD68 plus macrophages of some patients had also had the pneumoconiosis virus antigen, but no symptoms of nasal infection. Zhong pointed out that the study could not conclude the reason why Wuhan virus patients lost their sense of smell, but some patients' mucosal membranes and subcutaneous cells were simultaneously infected. It is estimated that the virus invaded the supporting cell of nasal cavity and lost their sense of smell. These patients have no common respiratory symptoms, whether it is related to the virus not invading the nasal nerves, and further experiments are needed. The research results have been published on the website of International Scientific Journal, Open Form Infectious Disease. And these are all of the news I want to brought to you today. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time. Bye bye.